Welcome back to TT News. I'm your host, Harley, with the Thoughtful Talk YouTube channel. Welcome to the show. Today, we're tackling a pressing issue that's been making headlines: the intersection of immigration, public safety, and accountability in government programs. We've been covering stuff like this for the past few days, and this one person just doesn't want to stay out of the media. Did you know that according to recent statistics, over 2.5 million illegal aliens have left the U.S. just this year? Meanwhile, a nonprofit organization tied to the Somali community in Minnesota has come under fire for allegedly siphoning off taxpayer dollars meant for food aid. How do these stories connect? And what does it say about the current state of immigration enforcement and oversight? Join us as we dive into a recent interview with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar on MSNBC, where she voiced her concerns about the treatment of Somali immigrants and immigration enforcement in the United States. We'll certainly analyze her claims and provide our perspective. Let's get on with it. Let's go to the TV.
For Minnesota, Ilhan Omar. Representative Omar, thank you for being here. Those words that you wrote, obviously they resonate with me as an immigrant. You and I both spent time as children in Kenya. When you go to Minneapolis, which I've been to many times, as you know, and you see Somalis on the street, there's no way to know whether they're immigrants or American citizens, or they just got here, or they're tourists, or they're visa holders. Like, you just don't know. They're integrated into society.
They certainly are, and what we know statistically is that nearly 100% of them are U.S. citizens or permanent residents, and so it is clear that this operation that was mobilized is only mobilized to terrorize a whole community and to make them feel like they are less American than everyone else. The young man that you showed the video of was born in the United States. Many of the people that they have picked up, that they've detained, handcuffed, manhandled, have been citizens who were born here. Nearly 60% of Somali Minnesotans are born U.S. citizens, and so this operation, if it was about safety, if it was about finding the worst of the worst, there is a different way that they would have carried out, not by going into establishments that are owned by Somali Minnesotans, not by going to masjids or mosques.
Well,
not by going.
Let's pause for a second, because how else are they going to find these people, right? If they're not going into places where they possibly could be. I mean, and we're going to get into the numbers, and I've done a little bit of research on this today, and I've been kind of digging into sort of what those numbers really entail, and we'll get into that. So we're going to smash a lot of our claims
Into neighborhoods that we frequent. This is clearly racial profiling, ethnic profiling, and it's to intimidate us. But Somalis are resilient. We've been through a lot. We have overcome a lot, and we're not easily intimidated or easily bullied. We know what our rights are. The president gets upset that I tell him that he needs to abide by the Constitution, is because that Constitution means a lot to us. We're people who've experienced what it means to have rights stripped from you.
I don't think they really do care about the Constitution unless it applies to them. Real be real. The thing about the left is the moment that somebody says something that goes against the grain of what they believe, right? So if say, for an example, I'm here challenging her or even them as a whole, right? The entire left, when we challenge them, we know what happens, right? Typically, it results in name calling, all that kind of stuff. But when people have that sort of reaction, and I don't support that at all, by the way. If anybody has a reaction like that towards them, hate speech is not free speech. Just remember that. That is one of the doctrines they believe, and they can't care about the Constitution if that's the case.
So we cling on to the fact that we are protected by the Constitution.
We love it, right? I mean, you're an immigrant
Well,
to this country. You come here,
you
when
love
you
it.
get your citizenship. In my case, I did it in a courtroom, so you couldn't take a cell phone. So they give you a little pocket Constitution. I read it 3 times, and I thought, how wonderful. I mean, this is what I'm going to be part of now, and this is across the board for immigrants in this country. The proportion of
People stay
who
up
immigrate
all night in
Yes.
excitement.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But by the way, they're pulling people out of their immigration lines right now. So it doesn't actually matter whether you...
And this guy's super biased, however, but when we start getting into her talking about guns, it's kind of really why I started watching this interview, because what she says about Australia is cunning.
They call them are illegal or not, people who are in the process, whether you're getting your citizenship or you're getting your H-1B or you're getting your green card or you're showing up for your regular hearings, it doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't matter. If you look like you might not be an American citizen, you can be targeted.
I mean, sorry about that. I mean, yes, you can be targeted if you look like it. And, it's like the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that if you meet other criteria as well, then in fact 100% you can be targeted. And I used this analogy before. What it is, and it's not about race, it's not about anything like that. However, that is useful for them. Because it's similarly if a house is getting burglarized, right? And over and over again, and I just so happen to one day be standing out there, right? Maybe even a couple days in a row, and the police see me, say somebody witnessed somebody, it was a white dude, right? Now, because I'm white and I'm standing there, right? They'll use that as a means to, detain me, question me, stuff like that, right? And investigate it. Why wouldn't they investigate it? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, and their whole immigration argument falls apart when they say they want to go after people who are not in this country, who are not documented immigrants in this country, or when they say they want to get rid of criminals and go after the worst of the worst, because they are literally in courtrooms. Arresting people who are going through the legal process and showing up for their hearings. They're canceling citizenship celebrations, and so it's insane. And everybody can see what they're doing.
Yeah, we're getting people that shouldn't be here out of the country. That's just the bottom line, and that's what's happening, right? They fluff it up to be something that it isn't. Simply because it's their demographic. And sure, a lot of people argue with me all the time, right? And they say, well, Harley, you're not in that demographic, so how do you know how it feels? Well, I don't. And quite frankly, I'm glad I'm not. The fact of the matter is they're going to investigate everybody they can to find the people they can, right? And again, we're going to get into the numbers here in a minute, and we'll smash what she's saying, 100%.
One of the things that I think is fascinating, again, Somalis in Minnesota is a good story because they're everywhere, they're all over the place, do you have to carry your ID? Because the law does not require citizens to carry their identification to prove that they are citizens. But if you're just going to target everybody who looks like they might be Somali, then 100% of Somali Minnesotans are in danger of being detained.
I think that goes for everybody. Pretty sure they're not going out there willy-nilly. I'm pretty sure they're doing their research, and I'm pretty sure that they're pretty confident in where they're going. Otherwise, they would be getting nobody. And that's the bottom line, right? I don't know about you, but a lot of people voted for this. Otherwise, he wouldn't be elected.
Yeah, I mean, when the president got elected, a lot of people in the Somali community here in Minnesota understood that he wasn't only going to go after undocumented immigrants or people who committed crimes, that he was going to come after all of us, whether we immigrated here and became citizens, or whether you are born to somebody who was an immigrant in your first generation. And so people like my son ordered their passport IDs and carry their passport IDs with them, the same as the young man. You know, he was carrying his passport ID. The ID that he's describing is not a driver license, it's a passport ID. There are a lot of people who are walking around with their actual passports. I carry my passport around. And so it is both out of the fear of being detained, as they did to one of my constituents who's a resident of Edina, who they detained for 24 hours until her parents and relatives could present her passport. So people are afraid of that. They don't want to get detained. But also, you don't want to be harassed. You don't want to be manhandled. And you just want that interaction to go as smoothly as it can.
Well, it can't go smoothly. And the reason why it can is because these people don't want to cooperate. You know, the couple of factors that they need to be able to have a detainment, right? If say, for an example, again, going back to my analogy, if they're looking for a specific kind of people, right, in a specific place where they're known to be, right, then of course they're going to investigate, right? And yeah, okay, you don't have to say anything, and you don't have to, right? However, in that investigatory way, right, it's going to hinder them from being able to speedily do it, right? It's pretty common sense. Just show them your stuff off rip, call it a day, move on.
And by you showing them that you are an American citizen.
What a thing. I mean, this is not a country where citizens are required to show identification. It's a fact that is not a requirement, a proof of citizenship, and yet that has to happen. I never know when Donald Trump takes a shot at you. Pretty racist usually. Called you garbage the other day and told you to get the hell out. I never know whether to laugh that off and say, well, it's Trump being Trump, and you don't get affected by it all that much, or to say that's kind of crazy that the president of the United States is saying this about a U.S. citizen who is an elected representative in Congress. How should I think about this?
Matter of fact, news out. Okay, you're hearing it here. Hopefully first. They are actively investigating her. And it is very highly possible that she could face deportation, that she could get her citizenship revoked and sent back to Somalia. Period. If they find out enough evidence that she married her half-brother, whatever, right? For him to get citizenship or whatever, she's gone. And he wants to say Trump's racist, the administration's racist. No, we're trying to get people like her out of the country who are abusing the system. Simple. It's not anything other than common sense.
I think all of the above. It is a wild thing. It's easily mockable. It is embarrassing that the president is willing to denigrate the presidency in such a matter. It is also, dangerous and creepy to have this level of obsession on someone like me, who's just a member of Congress.
I want to ask you very quickly before we go. We are following these shootings in Australia and in Rhode Island. There was a shooting in your district not that long ago, a mass shooting. This is yet another bad day for America.
Yeah, I mean, we are still recovering from the shooting at Annunciation Church. It is a tragedy that this has become a normal occurrence. not just in the United States, but now seeing it in Australia, who's worked really hard to create gun prevention laws to prevent the kind of...
Hear what she said. She said gun prevention laws. Laws preventing people from owning firearms. Gun prevention. Obviously, you know where she stands, right? Like, I get it. Most people say, like, let's control, right? Guns. But she's at a standpoint where her standpoint is we want gun prevention.
tragedy that took place today.
Thank you for your time this morning. Good to see you again. The Democratic Congresswoman for Minnesota, Ilhan Omar. All right,
now, I'm going to get into this. So in her interview, Omar asserted that most Somalians in Minnesota are U.S. citizens or permanent residents, claiming nearly 100% fall into these categories. But is this really the case? Let's break down the facts, okay? First, before we go on to that, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you've made it this far, don't rob the channel. If you like this kind of content, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, okay? Let's get into this. So, according to recent data from ICE, 117 Somali individuals have been taken into custody in 2025, with 28 arrests occurring in Minnesota, okay? I don't know if you know, but I focus on Minnesota a lot simply because that's where I'm from. This raises significant questions about the narrative that enforcement actions primarily target undocumented immigrants. While it's true that many Somali residents might be citizens, the reality is that a significant number are still being apprehended. Okay? This challenges Omar's assertion and suggests that the situation is more complicated than she portrays, right? And it is. Recent reports from the Department of Homeland Security reveal historic progress in securing the homeland. Okay? Here, I'm going to pull this up for you. Actually, I don't have it. Sorry. Okay. Which you can actually see. Actually, let me pull it up. Go to my history, because I just had it. Okay. Yep. Okay, here we go. Back to the TV. Okay, let's zoom this in so you can read it with me. Okay. So, this is off of the DHS.gov website. Thanks to President Trump and Secretary Noem. Sorry about my scribe deal here. Try to get that out of the way for you. Okay. Noem, more than 2.5 million illegal aliens left the U.S. So this was published on the 10th. It's now the 15th. DHS is shattering records with more than 605,000 deportations and 1.9 self-deportations. Deportations. I think that was a typo. 1.9 what? People? That's crazy. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security announced historic progress in securing the homeland, highlighting a year of record-breaking achievement of more than 2.5 million illegal aliens leaving the U.S. Since January 2025, DHS enforcement operations have resulted in more than 605,000 deportations. DHS has prioritized removing the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens as part of the Trump administration's efforts to return law and order to the United States. Additionally, thanks to the comprehensive efforts of DHS law enforcement, 1.9 illegal aliens have voluntarily self-deported since January 2025. Okay. There's enough information here to back up most of what I'm saying. Okay. Let's go back. So, again, from that report from the Department of Homeland Security, gives us an outlook, or at least a revelation of historical progress securing the homeland. In 2025 alone, like it said, 2.5 million illegal aliens have left the U.S., with 605,000 deportations and another 1.9 million self-deportations. Okay? This level of enforcement indicates that the government is actively working to remove individuals who might pose a risk to public safety and national security. It's a clear indication that the Trump administration has prioritized removing the worst of the worst criminals and illegal aliens. Okay? So if you appreciate all this information, give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. But let's break it down further. Between January and October of 2025, here's the nationwide total. 117 Somali citizens arrested by ICE, with 28 of these arrests in Minnesota alone. Okay? I'm going to say this. Okay? And when I say it, hear me loud and clear. That's a small number to the bigger scheme of things. And when they're talking about they're terrorizing us. It's only 117 Somali citizens arrested by ICE. Okay? It just suggests that many immigrants might not be as integrated as Omar suggests, raising concerns about community safety and the effectiveness of current immigration policies. So Omar claims that ICE operations are intended to intimidate the Somali community. Okay, arguing that these actions disproportionately target innocent individuals. While concerns about racial profiling are valid to some degree, data shows that both documented and undocumented individuals could be caught up in these operations. Yeah, maybe, right? Which we've seen a couple of those things, those situations happening. But from our viewpoint, right, from my point of view, it's crucial to prioritize national security and public safety. If law enforcement is apprehending individuals based on legitimate intelligence, it's part of their duty to protect American citizens. And I'm going to say this. Okay, I'm going to say this. If you haven't subscribed to the channel by now, please do. And if you like content like this, please hit that like button. Okay? So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go. So Omar mentions that ICE arrests individuals actively seeking legal status. However, the statistics indicate that many apprehended may not fit that description. This raises a critical question. Should we be focusing on the rule of law? I think so. Additionally, Omar argues that if ICE operations were genuinely about safety, they would be conducted differently. However, law enforcement often employs various tactics that might seem aggressive to ensure compliance and safety, which is crucial in a country facing security concerns. Right? And off to what she said, right? Because we're going to switch gears, okay? As Omar stated something about gun violence in the U.S., or at least, you know, as she referred to Australia, right? Drawing comparisons to Australia's stricter gun laws. While these laws have reduced mass shootings, is what her claim is, right? It's important to note that attacks have still occurred. You know, and the verbiage she used wasn't gun control. It was gun prevention, right? So after the 1996 Port Arthur massacre, Australia implemented stringent gun laws, including a gun buyback program. Sound familiar? Even so, incidents involving illegal firearms continue to happen, showing that strict gun laws can't completely eliminate gun violence. Gee, I wonder why. Is it because maybe law-abiding citizens obey the law? Is it because criminals respect the law? I mean, the reality is, despite Australia's stringent gun laws, criminal activities still occur. It's like you put up signs for speeding and people still speed. I mean, come on, that's the logic. In 2020, several incidents involved firearms where attackers used illegal weapons. This demonstrates that gun control measures alone are not the solution for violence. So, I believe this raises a concern about the effectiveness of gun control. Personally, rather than imposing more restrictions on law-abiding citizens, we should focus on enforcing existing laws and addressing the root cause of crime. Okay, and again, if you care about these issues, please like and subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. Another critical aspect to consider is the recent controversy surrounding a nonprofit, right? Now we're going to dig into the fraud again, okay? This organization called Feeding Our Future, ran by Somali individuals, allegedly siphoned hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars meant for food aid. I'm gonna do this for us here. Back to the TV.
Again, for 7 months in a row, we've had 0 illegal aliens.
Before we move on,
to the United States, and
hold on, let me.
Again, for 7 months in a row, we've had 0 illegal aliens that have been admitted to the United States, and nobody. Do you remember when Biden said, "I need legislation to do that"? And I said, "No, all you need is a new president." I didn't get legislation. Scott, did I get legislation? I said, close the freaking border right now. And they did it. Because our border patrol is incredible. ICE is incredible. That ICE, poor ICE, they take a lot of abuse, but they're the toughest people. And again, Washington, D.C. now is, we had the tragedy, which was a terrorism tragedy, but we have Washington, D.C., the safest it's been in 52 years. Think of that.
It's a long time.
And a year ago, you couldn't walk down a street in Washington, our nation's capital. And now restaurants are booming. Restaurants are opening. The restaurants were all closing. Now the restaurants are opening. You can't get into a restaurant in Washington, D.C. Biden and the radical left Democrats turned Pennsylvania into a dumping ground for hundreds of thousands of migrants from the most dysfunctional places on earth, like Somalia, and gave them billions and billions of your taxpayer dollar. But we didn't really give it. It was stolen. And those people should go to jail. Jail.
What are we talking about?
And if they don't go to jail, Scott Bessent is toast. He's toast. I'll tell you, that could be the easiest case. I think it's too easy for you. Just give it to your assistants. They can do that case. These people are crooks. They don't work. 91% unemployment, okay? It's a scam, and it's headed up by the crooked Congresswoman. Whatever happened to her brother, by the way? Is he still around? Where is he?
You were waiting for it, too. You're like, what does this have to do with anything?
He went low. He's not happy. Would you look into him too, Scott? Would you find out the brother, please?
Find out the brother, please. Find out the brother, please. He's funny. That's pretty hilarious. Not gonna lie. But back to Feeding Our Future. Okay? This organization was obviously ran by Somali individuals and one white lady. Allegedly, right? Not allegedly anymore. Millions of taxpayer dollars gonzoed. Critics argue that litigation regarding accusations of racism led state officials to ease oversight. Yeah, that's where we're going with that. Bet you didn't see that coming. Let's look at this report. Okay. Minnesota. Oh, come on, man. Ugh. Minnesota is under reviewed scrutiny for how... Okay, let's bring this in here for you. And let's get rid of that. So, Minnesota is under renewed scrutiny for how now defunct nonprofit was able to allegedly siphon hundreds of millions in taxpayer dollars. A breakdown that some critics say was fueled in part by officials easing off oversight because of accusations of racism. Okay? The nonprofit called Feeding Our Future was run largely by Somalians, and it sued the Minnesota Department of Education in 2020, alleging discrimination. Critics have suggested that litigation could have made the MDE nervous and caused state officials to let up on its supervision of Feeding Our Future, potentially letting more fraud occur. Like, come on, man. Like, in the left is known for this, okay? If they don't like what you're saying or don't agree with you, you're always racist, okay? Always. A conservative commentator, Jason Rance, noted accusations of racism made officials hesitant to question the nonprofit claims. The Feeding Our Future scandal highlights the challenges around accountability in government programs, obviously. Minnesota's Department of Education failed to oversee the nonprofit, which resulted in a massive FBI investigation that we're all talking about today. Over $250 million in fraud. The situation illustrates the risks of prioritizing political correctiveness over effective governance, with serious repercussions for the community as a whole. So as a closing statement, while Congressman Ilhan Omar, soon to be former, raises important points, her claims require a nuanced examination, have you will, right? The statistics reveal a complicated picture regarding immigration enforcement, with over 2.5 million illegal aliens leaving the U.S. and comparisons to Australia regarding gun laws must consider broader contexts. I mean, it's not always easy engaging in this kind of dialogue, right? Based on accurate data, which is obviously essential for addressing these pressing social issues, societal issues, is what I meant to say. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates. Thank you so much for watching. And I've been your host, Harley, with TT News. Have a blessed day.